Prayer in the field of silence. When becoming conscious of the unconscious, a process of awareness and disentanglement. In the stillness of the field of silence, I bring my awareness to the unseen layers within me, those currents of thought and emotion that have moved in the shadows, quietly shaping my life without my consent. Here, in the sacred pause between breaths, between thoughts, between moments, I open the door to becoming conscious of the unconscious. This is not a single act, not a one-time revelation, but a steady practice of awareness, of self-regulation, of choosing presence again and again. For within me lie programs written long ago, some inherited, some learned, some created in moments of pain or joy, feelings rehearsed for decades until they became automatic responses, memories not only stored in the mind but carried deep in the cells of my body, in the very fabric of my being. And I come now to disentangle, not with force or judgment, but with patience, compassion, and an open heart that welcomes all aspects of myself into the light of awareness. I close my eyes, and in meditation I step beyond the noise of the external world. It is not relaxation alone I seek, but deep observation, the kind of witnessing that transforms. In silence, I watch the stream of thoughts rise and dissolve like clouds forming and dispersing in an endless sky. I notice the habitual loops that appear like old recordings replaying in my inner world, the same worries, the same fears, the same stories I tell myself about who I am and what is possible. And I see clearly, perhaps for the first time, that I am not those thoughts, that I am the witness of them, the consciousness in which they arise and pass away. The quantum field whispers through the silence. Simply sit without judgment and observe with the curiosity of a child. And so I do, and in that practice of gentle witnessing, the unconscious begins to reveal itself, thread by thread, pattern by pattern. But thought is only half the story. Every thought carries a feeling, an emotional imprint, a frequency that leaves its mark upon the body like a tuning fork struck in the depths of my being. And to become conscious of the unconscious, I must not only name the thought, but feel the emotion it rides upon, allow it to move through me without resistance. Perhaps it is guilt that wraps around my heart like heavy chains, perhaps it is shame that burns in my chest, perhaps it is fear rehearsed for so many years it feels like the truth of who I am, the very foundation upon which my identity rests. And yet, here in awareness, I discover with wonder that this is not the essence of me, but a signature I have carried, often unknowingly, like clothing I forgot I was wearing. To recognize the feeling is to hold the key to freedom. To name the emotion with compassion is to begin the sacred process of release. My body, too, is a keeper of the unconscious, a living library of every experience I have ever had. Long before my conscious mind could see it, my body remembered, stored, and responded. Every thought repeated, every emotion rehearsed, every trauma revisited has left its print upon the cells, conditioning my body to become the mind of the past, to react from memory rather than respond from presence. I realize now with deep knowing that memory is not only in my brain but buried deep in the tissues, in the muscles that hold my posture of protection, in the very rhythm of my breath that quickens with remembered fear or slows with recalled peace. And as I sit here, present and aware, I whisper to my body with infinite tenderness, it is safe to let go. It is safe to no longer be ruled by the past. You are loved, you are held, you are free to be new in this moment. The process is not always comfortable, and I honor this truth. The mind resists change like a river resists a new course. The body protests the unfamiliar like muscles and used to new movement, and the feelings I have avoided surface with intensity that can feel overwhelming. But I remind myself with gentle firmness. Discomfort is a catalyst for change, the labor pains of a new self being born. To lean into the unease rather than flee is to invite transformation, to say yes to evolution. The quantum field calls me to be so present with discomfort that I discover the grace within it, for it is here, in the very heart of unease, that the old dissolves like salt in water and the new emerges like dawn breaking over distant mountains. And so I practice, returning again and again to this altar of awareness. I catch myself slipping into the old unconscious loops with the same compassion I would show a child learning to walk. I find myself reacting rather than creating, rehearsing an old story rather than stepping into a new one, and I meet myself there with understanding. But I return, gently, patiently, without self-judgment. This is not failure but the very nature of practice, the art of becoming aware in the very moment I forget, like a bell calling me home to myself. With eyes open and heart awake, I guide myself back to the present, back to the field of awareness where true choice resides, where possibility lives and breathes. Beyond the analytical mind, beyond the endless cycles of thought and overthinking, beyond the need to figure everything out, I surrender. I release the need to define myself by the external world, by my past achievements or failures, by my name, my role, my story, my wounds, my victories. I enter a state of no one, no thing, nowhere, no time, pure being without boundaries, consciousness without limits. Here, in this vast awareness that has no beginning and no end, I step into the vastness of being itself. This is where the unconscious loses its grip, where the separate self dissolves into the infinite like a wave returning to the ocean, where the impossible becomes inevitable and the new becomes not just possible but natural. In this sacred process of awareness and disentanglement, I reclaim my birthright as a conscious creator. I am no longer the puppet of my past programs, dancing to strings I cannot see. I am no longer bound by the feelings I rehearsed for years like lines in a play I never auditioned for. I am no longer confined by the body's old memories or the mind's familiar stories. I am present, awake, aware. A being who chooses consciously, who feels fully, who creates in alignment with the highest vision of what is possible. And so I breathe deeply, drawing life force into every cell. I let my awareness rest in the quiet rhythm of inhalation and exhalation, feeling the miracle of breath as life force flowing through me. I feel the freedom in naming my patterns without being enslaved by them, the release in facing my discomfort with courage, the expansion in stepping beyond my old identity into the vastness of who I truly am. The unconscious is no longer hidden in shadow. It is revealed, seen, acknowledged with love, and in that seeing, in that compassionate witnessing, it begins to lose its unconscious power over my life. This is the ongoing practice, the sacred journey that has no end, only deepening, the rhythm of becoming conscious of the unconscious. It is not perfection I seek but presence, not an end point but a way of living, breathing, and being. With every thought I observe without attachment, with every feeling I name without judgment, with every discomfort I lean into with curiosity, with every practice I commit to with devotion, I disentangle from the past and step into the infinite freedom of now.